Welcome to KeepITRealStudios, the only channel on YouTube that keeps it real. In a couple months, 2025 will be over, and overall UFC this year has just been pretty good actually. Looking back on the year and looking forward on what we have, I think this was actually a pretty solid year for the UFC, and I'm very grateful for it. So in today's video, I want to talk about some of the main events and kind of give you my predictions. Some of them are main events, some of them are core main events, and the others are just like anticipated fights for the rest of the year. So starting off, we have Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. So this one is actually going down next week, so I'm very excited. Honestly, out of almost every fight for the rest of the year, this is the one that's the most anticipated. Because if I'm being honest, I actually don't even know who's going to win. I've tried to think about it multiple times. I don't even know how the fight is going to play out between these two fighters. Immovable object versus the unstoppable force meeting together, and that's a perfect representation of these two fighters. You know, Dricus du Plessis has plot armor, while so does Khamzat Chimaev to a certain extent. Usually moments like this, if I can't predict who I believe is going to win, I just kind of go with the fighter that I'm rooting for more. And in this scenario, it is Khamzat Chimaev. So I am kind of rooting for Khamzat Chimaev. So I guess I'm just going to go with him. But I'll say don't sleep on Dricus though. I've been watching a couple interviews of him. He's been wanting to fight Khamzat Chimaev, and he's not scared of the wrestling. And that is something I am very excited for. Because when I watch a lot of fighters talk about their opponents, they're usually like, oh, I have to avoid the grappling, I have to avoid the stand-up. And I feel like if you're trying to avoid something in a fight, mentally, you've already lost that aspect. Don't get me wrong, I still think play to your skill set. If you're just avoiding the whole time, you've already kind of lost mentally. So I'm very excited that Dricus du Plessis is like, he wants to go into deep waters for 5 minutes, then see how Khamzat is for the next couple rounds. So I'm really looking forward to that fight. I don't really have a prediction, but I am rooting for Khamzat Chimaev, so I guess I go with him then. The next one, we have Merab Dvalishvili versus Cory Sandhagen. If I'm being honest, man, I think Merab, bro. Merab is just a different beast, man. I truly believe he's the bantamweight GOAT. To me, I think so, man. This guy, he's just built different. I do believe Cory Sandhagen would definitely have the best game plan for Merab. But I don't know, just when I look at these fighters, I just feel like Merab is just physically just a lot stronger than Cory. And I feel like if he's able to stand with Sean O'Malley, he should be able to stand with Cory Sandhagen too. And I don't know, personally, Merab, to me, he's just something else, man. This guy will just shoot takedown after takedown after takedown. It doesn't matter if you even stuff it or reverse it. He just does that, and I feel like that just disrupts your flow as the fight progresses on. If there was somebody to beat Merab, it would be Cory, just because of his IQ and just how he just stylistically prepares himself for fights. But I don't know. What can you do against Merab, bro? I feel like you just have to knock this guy out. And I don't think Cory is really going to knock him out. If someone was to beat Merab, I would say it was Cory. But as of right now, I'm still going with Merab Dvalishvili. Now we have Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira in the rematch. So going into the first fight, I actually didn't think Alex was going to win. But relatively, Ankalaev did do well up against Alex Pereira. And you could definitely tell Alex Pereira was a little bit hesitant. While going into this rematch, I still think Ankalaev gets it done. When a fighter has already beat you once and you guys kind of rematch and years haven't really gone by or anything like that, I still kind of favor the same fighter to beat you. Because even though Alex Pereira is less hesitant and he's not that gun shy, I still feel like Ankalaev, he's already gone 25 minutes with Poatan, so he knows he can stand with him. He already knows what his strength feels like, what his power feels like, and I feel like he'll just be more ready for Alex Pereira this time. I don't know, I just think Ankalaev gets it done. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually finishes Poatan this time. I am leaning towards Ankalaev in this matchup. For UFC 321, we have Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. If I'm being honest, man, I think Tom Aspinall takes this one. Honestly, this is kind of a disappointing matchup, but truthfully, I don't even know who else you can put up against Tom Aspinall. But I'm just excited to see Tom Aspinall get in the cage. It's one of those fights I don't even really care who the opponent is. I'm just happy to see a fighter step back in the octagon. I think Tom Aspinall does get it by either submission or knockout. It would be interesting to see if Ciryl Gane actually improved a lot more and is able to actually drag Tom Aspinall into deep waters, or maybe round 1 or round 2. You know, Tom Aspinall hasn't fought in a long time, or a year or something like that. Maybe he does have ring rust, but I think Tom Aspinall wins. I don't really see Ciryl Gane winning. I close my eyes and I try to picture it. I don't see anything at all. So I'm gonna go with Tom Aspinall on this one. Then for UFC 322, we have JDM versus Islam Makhachev. I truly believe this is another anticipated matchup of the year. Call me crazy, but I think Islam actually finishes JDM. Going into this matchup, I truly believe no one should sleep on JDM. I see a lot of people kind of bashing JDM because of his Bilal matchup, but people forget, man, JDM took that fight on short notice and he still did well. But to me, the way I see it is like Islam is just like a better version of Bilal. He's a better striker. He's going to implement more kicks. And if Islam goes for a takedown, he's getting it. That's one thing I want you to know. I don't care how many times JDM stuff say, if Islam goes for a takedown, he's going to get it. And if I'm being honest, I feel like you should fear Islam's overall jiu-jitsu, like his submission game, rather than just his overall wrestling. Because on the ground, obviously it's Islam. On the feet, you definitely want to lean forward towards JDM. But Islam is underrated striking. He will hit you with a couple like flurries, then go for a takedown. I don't know. I just don't see JDM like doing much up against that. I feel like he would have his moments. I don't want to underestimate him. I wouldn't be too surprised if he beats Islam, honestly, but I think Islam gets it done, man. Whenever fighters go up in weight, it just looks like they're in a completely different level. They just look faster, stronger, and they just look more healthy, man. It looks like they're fighting at 80%, but once they move up in weight, they're like 100. So I do think Islam gets it done, in my opinion. I feel like this is just Islam's crowning moment to solidify his legacy and win the belt. Okay, so for the next one, nothing has been really mentioned yet at this point in time. Nobody has really said anything, but there have been rumors that Ilia Topuria does want to return and defend his lightweight championship. So a lot of people are saying it's Justin Gaethje, and a lot of people are wishing it's Arman Tsarukyan. So I don't know what it's going to be, but however, I thought I'll just give a prediction for either or. So starting off with Justin Gaethje, I think Ilia smokes him. But I would say this one thing. I have a feeling that Justin Gaethje would actually put it on Ilia. I don't know why, but for some reason, I can actually see that happening. I don't know. I just see Justin Gaethje just do a bunch of leg kicks, try not to get into boxing range, maybe actually use his wrestling for the first time. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Gaethje does a better job than Charles Oliveira, Volk, and Max in terms of fighting Ilia Topuria, but I still think Ilia Topuria gets it done. Now, Ilia versus Arman Tsarukyan. Honestly, Arman Tsarukyan is a huge question mark for me right now. I truly believe he deserves a title shot, but this guy hasn't fought since UFC 300, man. I feel like fighting in UFC 300 and just going to fight Ilia Topuria right away, I don't know if the ring rust is going to affect him or not. I'm truly excited because I feel like we still don't know how good Ilia Topuria's grappling is. I know, yeah, people say he has good wrestling, he has good jiu-jitsu, and he did well up against Charles Oliveira, but we haven't really seen someone just take him down, keep it on the ground, you know, force him to fully wrestle the whole time. I don't know. I actually don't know with this fight. This one's a question mark. I do want to lean towards Ilia Topuria because I feel like if it's a stand-up, it's a complete mismatch. Arman Tsarukyan, don't sleep on him, but he hasn't fought in a long time, so it's a huge question mark for me. Like I said earlier, if I can't really make a full-on prediction, I just like to go with the person I'm rooting for, and I am rooting for Ilia Topuria. I do like the Ilia Topuria matchup. And if Ilia wins, we might still end up seeing that fight with Islam. So relatively, that's just kind of my overall predictions for the main events coming up for the rest of the year. In overall conclusion, that's just it for today's video. I kind of just wanted to put all the videos into one. Usually, I don't really like prediction videos. I don't like to predict fights way too early. I like to predict it in the week of the fight week. I feel like it's easier to see the fighter's mentality, weight cutting, the press conference with the face-offs and everything, what their coaches are saying, what they're saying. For me, it's much easier during fight week to actually make a full-on prediction. But as of right now, this is what I believe are the outcomes. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either or. You know, this is fighting, anything can happen. But overall, this is how I just feel about some of the matchups coming up for the rest of the year. But that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and don't forget to keep it real.